We have returned, you lovely individuals, Mark and Eric, here again for the top 4 now of our LCK preseason power rankings. And top 4 is the hardest. It's the most difficult. We've said before, the other regions, you got G2, you got Team Liquid. It's pretty easy who's going to be the top one. It's a mystery. You could argue for probably any of the 4 top teams to be number 1.
It all depends on what you want here, what flavor you want at the very top of your LCK Sunday. That is what decides who you want to be the top team here. But hey, we got our own flavors to choose from, and we aren't even at the very top of this Sunday of LCK greatness.
And for us, number 4, it's about potential, but also being unproven. So yes, it is Dragon X, because they are filled with promising, upcoming rookie talent who is not yet proven on the main stage. And I'll say it once, I'll probably say it 3 or 4 times throughout and before the season starts. This team has the highest ceiling of any squad in the LCK, but it's hard to put them ahead of some of the more proven players that will eventually make up our top 3. But these are legit contenders to win a spring title.
And now someone's going to say, what's the difference here? What's the difference here between number 6 to number 4? Why are you having a team that you say, like, you know, Sandbox and a Freak of Freaks have the chance to challenge here a number 1 level team in the LCK, but you're saying that Dragon X gives you that little bit of extra potential here? Well, the difference really here for me is I think that if you're looking at a Sandbox, you're looking at someone else, they need something else to go their way outside of their own skill. Whereas I think Dragon X can completely, no matter what the situation unfolds around them, the rest of the LCK, I feel like there's enough talent here on this roster that they should be able to control their own destiny here and make their own trip to the finals.
And the other thing they have that others might not is arguably best in position for mid and AD carry. Yes, Keen is on the Freak of Freaks, probably the best top laner, but mid and AD carry having some of the very best in the LCK, that's going to be huge. Having probably the best coach for developing young, mechanically talented players in CV Max. He already has that inherent relationship with Doran and Chovy. And this team, obviously, a lot ride on how good Pyosik in particular is, because Kyria, does it really matter? Deft can make almost any support, even if they struggle, look like an all-pro.
Yeah, I don't think you're really worried too much about that support position here, especially the way the meta is going right now. It doesn't really matter too much, really, to me, who's playing these supports. It is all about who's on the damage here, and right now you don't have anybody better than Deft in the bottom side here for Dragon X, delivering out the damage here. The Llama is in full force here and ready to stay in the LCK and provide these strong star performances for DRX.
And obviously the craziest thing about this roster, you saw that stat on the board. Deft, 44 games at Worlds that he's played. Doran, Pyosik, and Korea, 56 games played all time in their careers.
Not bad, not bad.
So obviously there is a lot of unproven talent here, and the fact that they are number 4 with 2 rookies and Doran, basically a rookie, played half a split in the LCK, just speaks to the potential that this roster has and how damn good Chovy and Deft are.
And hey, you said it, yeah, Chovy and Deft, that is the big thing here that screams out when you look at DRX, because of course that's the mega superstar power here. Not just star power, mega superstar power is what these two bring to the table here, being the best at their positions. And yes, being the best at your position, being the best mid laner in the LCK ahead of someone like Faker does carry that type of weight here and what you've been able to do. The way he plays in lane, Chovy is without a doubt the best in the LCK at what he does here, and adding him to this roster for DRX with Deft down in the bottom side, and of course Doran, who, hey, with the way it looks here with Khan leaving the LCK, Doran seems to step right up into kind of that top 3 of top laners here in the LCK, and like to see the chances that DRX has with him.
I mean, in half a split, the development was clear. From the first game that he came in towards the end of the split, there was clear advancement and development, and it's probably great for CV Max because it's kind of his own project, is the growth of Doran, so that he gets to continue doing that and won't be fighting with Sword for that starting position. It's going to be Doran's way to go. But yeah, it all rides on Pyosik and how good he actually looks, because we know the jungle position is probably the most important right now in the entire game, and with a team that has such high expectations to come in as a rookie, That's a lot of pressure. Luckily, you have the most lane-dominant mid laner in the league to work with, so that helps.
And absolutely shores up some issues that might come up here. And one of the big ones I'd be looking at specifically is, yes, the jungle play from DRX did look okay in the Kespa Cup here, but I think a lot of that did come down to sometimes making a mistake and not having your opponent be up to the level of skill good enough to capitalize on some of these mistakes, I think was what you were seeing sometimes here with DRX and some of these mistakes coming across here. And that is something that as you move towards this regular season here, you're hoping is ironed out here by some of these scrim sessions.
And one of the interesting storylines with this squad, of course. You remember way back in 2019 spring when Chovy got MVP for a game against Jin Air where he went 0-2-6 or something on Zoe. He was going toe-to-toe with Deft for that award in spring, and now they're on the same team, so maybe they fight about that.
Got to find a way to get the MVP points here onto the right player this time. You might have to do a little bit of strategy here to get this one into the favors of DRX because, hey, you'll be cannibalizing your own MVP points here, having this
just sub one of
stars.
them. Game 3 Deft out.
No. Please leave them in. I want to keep these players on the big stage here, but of course, yes, MVP watch will be in full effect for DRX.
Yeah, and if you look at this roster of Dragon X back to Kingzone last year, hard to keep track of this team, by the way. It's just Kingzone, and then it's Kingzone Dragon X, and now we're dropping the Kingzone, it's Dragon X. From henceforth, they will be Dr. X. That's it. They're Dr. X.
You know what? You can't argue with that type of power here, and the way that they're looking, they could bring up that level of power to the Dr. X level in the LCK.
But last year, there was the entire issue behind the scenes with the organization. They were looking like a top 3. They were a top 3 team in spring with Nahun, Cuz, and Rascal, players who you weren't necessarily expecting to step up throughout an entire split. They absolutely did in spring, and at times in summer. They got some impressive wins against the best of the best in the LCK. They were 3-1 against Damwon in the regular season. They split the year 2-2 against SKT. So they showed that they can go toe-to-toe with the very best, and I think there's upgrades almost across the board for them potentially this year.
And look, I've got no inside track here for you guys as far as knowing the ownership group and things like that and the issues that they caused last year heading into this year. What I can tell you is that I feel very confident that we won't have those issues again here. Given that Deft has re-signed with that organization, I don't see that happening unless straighten things out.
Yeah, and it's just crazy. Deft, I mean, the age of the players on this roster, you saw Deft's the only one over 20, which is insane. And Deft, for a guy who's been around since Season 3, he's only 23. When everyone's debuting at 17, I mean, these long careers, you've been around for 7-8 years, and yeah, you're not even 24 years old. So the sky's the limit for DRX. We'll see if they live up to the hype. That's all the time today for League Unlock. Eric and Mark with you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Catch you on the flippity flop.